A young man wakes up at the bottom of a stone well. A middle-aged man sits opposite him. The guy examines himself and finds a deep abrasion on his head. At this time, the man confesses, he thought that the guy was dead. Then he wonders what he did to get here. The young man looks around. There are wet stone walls around. High above his head through a round hole one can see the sky. Confused, he asks the man where they are. The other party calmly reports that they are locked in a dungeon and this place is Doringham Castle. It turns out that the guy does not know why he was sentenced. Trying to find out more information, the guy asks how he got here. The man grins and mysteriously answers, there is only one way to get here. Then the guy asks if the neighbor saw how he got here. Unfortunately, he did not notice his appearance, because at that moment he was sleeping. In turn, the prisoner asks if the guy is from Doringham and receives a positive answer. The man is surprised to notice that he has never met him before. He's seen strangers at the blacksmith several times, and the guy looks like a newcomer to town. The man ironically notes that it is as if the guy has been brought into the dungeon by the devil himself through the air. But even so, he is happy with such company. He holds out his hand and says his name, William Favishan. The dumbfounded guy is in no hurry to shake hands and wants to first understand what all these mysterious phrases mean. A dungeon, a castle, a sentence. The man is surprised, because the young man confirmed that he is from Doringham, which means he must know what awaits him next. He leans back against the wall and pauses. The guy looks around again and notices parts of a broken fence on the ground. He piles up the pieces and exclaims happily. He recognized it. Previously, he wanted to surprise his wife before she arrived on Sunday. It was a beautiful sunny day. He took the car to go to the city center and drove around 3 stores before he found something worthwhile. He returned home and began putting up a fence in the garden. He put his foot on the parapet, and there was sleet. The fence broke and he fell into the well. And that's how he ended up here, in his backyard garden. The man does not believe his story and calls him a madman. The guy starts to get angry and asks the other party what he forgot on his land. The man laughs dumbfounded, not believing that the castle belongs to this storyteller. The guy continues the interrogation and asks how long the man has been in his well. He replies that he has been here since last night. Then the young man declares that the man can no longer be in his garden. He tries to reason with the guy and says that he was upstairs and the dungeon is in the courtyard of the castle. For several centuries there has been nothing but stone walls. Suddenly, a dog barks from above. The guy starts calling his dog Spocky, but gets no response. The older man looks at his neighbor with pity, thinking that he is crazy. The guy notices iron brackets sticking out of the wall and tries to get to them on his own, but he doesn't succeed. Then he asks the man for help and promises to throw a rope down to him when he gets out of the well. To this, his neighbor laughs sadly and tells that there are 3 more dungeons surrounded by high walls. The guy must have been unconscious when they carried him here, so he did not see that each door was heavily guarded. Guards constantly walk around the castle grounds with dogs and crossbows, and any attempt to escape is madness. The guy refuses to believe in the man's nonsense and is sure that it was his dog that was barking upstairs. He knows this place well, having lived in this house for 7 years. The guy again asks for help, but the man, in turn, is sure that the young man has lost his mind. The man assures the guy that he will not be able to get out, and he himself does not want to do anything, because he is hungry and feels that his end is near. Then the guy decides to cheat and promises food if he helps, but the older man again refuses. He continues to persuade his neighbor and says that there is nothing upstairs but a small village. His wife won't be back until next Sunday, and until then no one will find them. They need to try to get out on their own. All the man needs to do is push the guy's foot so that he gets to the iron braces. The man becomes furious and says that he is already trying to help the guy survive. Earlier, his former cellmate escaped, but was caught by the guards, who then pulled out his tongue with forceps and gouged out his eyes. The guy asks the man to stop talking nonsense, but at that moment, upstairs a wild female scream is heard. The man begins to pray, and the guy looks up in bewilderment and tries to understand what happened. He decides that this is some kind of setup and someone's cruel joke. He tries to get through to the man, who angrily grabs him by the throat and tells him to leave him alone. Then he starts praying again. At this moment, a thunderstorm begins and dark clouds cover the sky. The guy decides to act immediately and climbs onto a small stone ledge that crumbles under his feet. After he manages to grab onto the protruding iron pin, he begins to climb up with great difficulty. The neighbor begs him not to do this, as the dogs will be set on him before he gets to the top of the wall. However, the guy continues to climb up and finally crawls out, after which he collapses exhausted to the ground. People in white coats run up to him. One of them grabs the guy by the shoulders and asks where he was. Afterwards, he runs to the well and sees the second man below. The orderly orders to inform Dr. Greenberg that both missing people have been found, and he asks to take a rope with him. It turns out that the whole hospital is looking for them since morning. Soon a doctor arrives and tries to find out how the well was open. The orderlies explain that the cover was removed last week, and a new one has not yet been delivered. Angry Dr. doctor orders not to let patients out into the yard until the well is closed. The guy starts talking about his wife Sarah, but the orderlies take him away. The second man asks if he will be tortured. The doctor laughs and promises that he will not torture him, but simply escorts him to his room. They pass through the lawn on which the patients of the psychiatric clinic walk alone, and from time to time one of the women emits heartrending cries. And an elderly man, standing on all fours, very lifelike, barks like a dog.